Welcome back to the Burton Memorial Open 2024 10-year anniversary. Hashtag gaming to prevent suicide. We are getting ready to go to round 3. I'm Hal Brady with Tan and Grace. Man, that was a sweet match you got to cover last round.
Yeah, absolutely unreal one. You know, we saw just both the Esper decks looked amazing last round. I'm kind of impressed with how good that deck is and how redundant it is, and then how good it is at playing a fair game on top of the oops, I have an Atraxo on turn 2.
Yeah, it's not something that Goryo's Vengeance decks have really been able to do in the past. There's normally just kind of like all in and then fall apart if it doesn't work.
Very glass cannon-y.
Yeah.
Speaking of glass cannon type decks, do we have 2 heaters for you this round? So I'll kind of there we go. The names are up on the board. So the first one on the right, something you may have seen before in Modern. This is Infect. The one on the left, you play a little bit of Magic Online, you've maybe seen this one, but this one's not as popular. Calibrated Blast with a lot of hits, such hits as Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn, and other creatures that cost 15, 14, 13 in their deck. None of these are going to get cast. They're going to get revealed to Calibrated Blast and pointed at Keith Rooker's head.
Yeah, it's kind of like Infect just from your hands instead of attacking with the creatures.
Here's the funny part. This is kind of a nightmare for Adam, I would have to think. Look, I'm not going to say like I know the matchup between Calibrated Blast and Infect because it's not a very common one. But in my mind, this feels like this is probably going to be a nightmare. The fact that this is the fastest start someone can have in an aggressive deck in Modern. It's just an Infector on turn 1, and then you're not going to be interacting with them. So they just kind of have carte blanche to do whatever they want, and they might kill you on turn 2 in some of these spots. Looks like an Ignoble Hierarch's going to come in, go ahead and pump this up to 2, plus a mutagenic growth off paying 2 life here. So right now we're at 4 Infect, and I'll tell you this right now, Adam's not getting another turn after the next one.
Yeah, 100%. And I think Adam on the Calibrated Blast deck is probably thinking, okay, there's a lot of Modern decks that are really powerful and explosive, but they don't really do anything the first like couple turns.
Yeah, the first 2 turns are mine.
Yeah. And so I'm going to try to just get them before they get to set up with their game plan. Keith's not trying to mess around and give you any time.
Yeah, Keith doesn't give you any time whatsoever.
No one's seen in a long time.
Man, and just looking, we got sent the Blast deck. We're just looking, it's like this giant worm, Emrakul.
It's a Gothatarian worm, I think.
Like, where's the catch? Oh, okay. There's Calibrated Blast. There's Throes of Chaos.
The only like fair thing it can do besides Calibrated is it can actually cast Scion of Draco, which, as we've seen lately in Modern, is something that's pretty good, and that's gonna happen in Magic. You know, we've actually seen decks doing that. This was the first deck to really use Scion of Draco. This was a deck that popped up, you know, like a year ago at times, and stuff. It would do really well at Challenge on Magic Online. I don't know if I've ever seen it in person though. So this is a treat for me and some of the viewers at home, honestly.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if Adam gets another turn here. Because my bet is no, even though this is the Golgari version for Keith Rooker as well here. So sometimes maybe this one doesn't have as many pump spells.
I see a lot of non-lands in Keith's hand though.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I see another Ignoble Hierarch. I think I see a Groundswell. That should be enough because it's +2 from the Ignoble Hierarch. The problem is he can cast both of them because of the Ignoble as well. So there is a land that is coming to play this turn. So this should be lethal. The problem is Keith doesn't know what his opponent's doing or what he's playing, so maybe he's a little worried about moving all in here this turn. All right, looks like we're gonna have, here comes the second Ignoble Hierarch. So 2 Exalted triggers are on the stack from the Glistener Elf there. So the Glistener Elf is a 3/3 right now.
Miles just shakes his head, yes. Nods his head, okay.
And Keith,
what you got?
Let's see if Keith's going to go for it. Does look like he's going to. Groundswell. I believe this is +4/+4. And shrug. I'm dead.
Cool.
Yeah. Good beats.
He says, all right, Keith, good luck sideboarding because you don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. I was going to say, you know, in an open deck list, we've seen a lot of open deck list tournaments lately. Most paper events have moved to open deck lists and you'd know what's going on. Here, you're like, I saw a Sunken Citadel and a fetch land for my opponent. I don't know what they're just dead.
He might bring in like 1 additional Thoughtseize. He may just do nothing. Like, you know what? All in game plan.
Same 60. Yeah.
Let's run it back.
Just push the deck across the board like immediately. Like, here you go.
It's like, this is fine.
It was good enough game 1. Yeah.
3, man. So my sideboard is just 15 different lands.
Yeah, you can't really sideboard in a bunch of spells in this deck.
Yeah, so you've got 4 Scavenger Grounds for Graveyard Hate. You've got 3 Ottawaras. Maybe bring that in. That's just too slow against Infect.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe Besaju's come in just because they can answer the Yawgmoth Nexus
Yeah.
in a pinch. And
Black's interesting too, though.
yeah, I'm not loving the side of Adam here against Infect, but the thing is he is able to play this game, so he's going to come out a little bit faster. And we'll see if Keith has another turn 1 Glistener Elf. That's really bad for him. If it's something like just Ignoble Hierarch, maybe he gets a chance to actually get a 3rd or 4th turn in this game. We'll see. So it looks like an overrun Tomb here for Keith. Off of Misty Rainforest, going to put him down to 17. Let's see if he has one of those 1-drops. Glistener Elf is what he really wants. Ignoble Hierarch is the runner-up here, and not too bad. Not too shabby.
Yeah, just looking at the blast list too, there's a lot of fun lands in here. There's 4 Sunscorched Desert and a 1 of Mount Doom just to like get the last couple damage if you need to, if like 15 wasn't enough.
Yeah, because here's the thing. 15 sometimes isn't enough, right? If you're playing against Tron or whatever, they're not going to do damage themselves. Most decks go to at least 17 from their own lands for it, maybe 16 with an extra fetch. 15 a lot of times is enough, but sometimes you got to get that extra point or 2 across. So it was the Ignoble Hierarch on turn 1 from Adam. We haven't seen a spell out of him just yet, but we do see the land and an Arid Mesa on his side of the board. Let's see what Keith's cooking up here in turn 2. Does he have an Infector? That's the big question. If he has to try to win through normal damage, I don't think that's going to be great for him, but looks like we got a Thought Seize.
You're gonna get it back in.
So maybe you're right. Maybe the extra Thought Seize is coming in, just kind of, what's going on here? And you know what? The jig is up because there's a Calibrated Blast in the hand.
Judge.
It's like, all right, well, I know your entire game plan now.
I started
So what's going on here? It looks like we got a question about Thought Seize.
Before I revealed my hand.
Okay.
So it's on the stack basically.
Yeah, understood. What exactly was the communication that happened when?
Yeah, not sure.
You're talking first. I apologize.
No, you're good.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to be coming back to the booth as we get this sorted out from the players and the judge. So it looks like they're going to be sorting it out. And how? This is kind of a blast from the past. Pardon my really bad pun there. But we've got Infect going on here. All right, looks like we're good. The judges have figured this out. But were you expecting, was this on your bingo card today, seeing Infect and Calibrated Blast and/or Calibrated Blast?
No.
Yeah, me either.
The players' bingo cards either.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons why you see a lot less Infect nowadays is you've got the Oakish Bowmasters just running around in this format so much.
Yeah.
And it's so hard for you to be like, play 1-1 go. They're just Bowmaster your guy. You're like, well, I really needed to attack you just once with this 1-1, but that's not happening now. And just a bunch of the cards. And so the jig is up just a little bit here. We got 2 lands, a Sign of Draco, and that is a Calibrated Blast in Adam's hand here, the namesake card of this deck. And the way this game's going so far, there's a decent chance it gets cast in this one.
Yeah, he's still at 15.
That's the magic number, by the way.
Magic number. So, but that one is only 12 though, right?
Well, the sign would be only 12, but it comes off the top of the deck. So
Oh,
if you can find the Emrakul or
Yeah,
whatever there.
There's a lot of 15s in the
Yeah.
deck.
Up to you.
No worries. I'm trying to get used.
No, you're good.
You know what?
It's
I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt on understanding all the nuances of the Calibrated Blast deck. I don't expect, because here's the thing, I don't either.
From your hand, you need to like hit it off the top.
2 options.
Yeah, so Calibrated Blast, I think it reveals until you reveal a non-land card at the top.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm really racking my brain from when I opened a bunch of Modern Horizons packs, and I'd be like, what is this card? You know, like.
Oh man.
Let's see, Keith resolves that Thoughtseize.
Okay, and then if you hit, okay, then you have Throws of Chaos to cascade into it. Gotcha.
I will.
It looks like Keith so far is just going the combat damage route.
We didn't come here not to do this, so I'm gonna
But he
cast-
does have the 1 Glistener Alpha. Here comes a Calibrated Blast.
So here's what the judge calls about. This is what I thought it was. I thought that was an Athalia Academy that was in play. This is from the sideboard of the Calibrated Blast player. And it says, if a spell or ability an opponent controls causes you to discard a card, you may reveal that card and put it on top of your library instead of putting it anywhere else. And I think he was just calling a judge to make sure all of that happens correctly.
Okay.
Here we go. We got our first Calibrated Blast. Looks like it's Heartland Worm. And that's going to be at your face
That's crazy.
upstairs.
All right.
Let's go.
And yep, all right. And I love that. Nice friendly fist bump. And here's the thing. This is what I love talking about in Modern. This is peak Modern here. This is 2 ships passing in the night.
I love it.
Like, yeah, there was a Thoughtseize there, but there's no real interaction here. We're just going as hard as we possibly can at each other.
It's like, am I dead? No, cool.
You're dead. Yeah. It's who gets a turn 3 in this match. If you get more turn 3s than your opponent, you've probably won.
Man, I
We're
always love
already
this
in game
start.
3. I felt like we were just settling in for game 1.
We just got here.
Yeah. This is awesome. All right, so it looks like we got a little bit of a mulligan here from Keith. I see a Calibrated Blast, I believe, in Adam's hand. And he looks like he's got a mulligan here as well. So I think both players go into 6.
I gotta pace it right now.
Yeah.
Make sure.
And I always love to see the decks that come out to the Hunter Burtons. I feel like a lot of times people are like, I just want to play something crazy this weekend. Sometimes it works. We saw some sweet, like no-land Charbelcher decks last year that were doing well.
They were doing well in the pre-trials as well this weekend.
Nice.
My buddy said, he's like, yeah, man, I lost on turn 2 in the finals. I was like, what? I didn't know that was still a thing that could happen in this format. We've seen it so much today.
Yep.
And here we go, the Nightmare opener for Adam here. Keith with the turn 1 Glistener Elf. Exactly what he wants.
To,
Yep.
like, yeah.
Playing a follow you, Cat. That's you.
Adam's ready to counter a Thoughtseize if needed with with the Nephalia.
Yawgmoth?
Yeah, let's see how much damage it actually is for Keith here. Sorry, it looks like... All right, this looks like a carbon copy of game 1. We've got to land into an ignoble hierarch here, so it looks like we're going to go in for 2. Is there a mutagenic growth here? If not, that's just all the infect we're going to get this turn. So it looks like 2.
2.
2 infect.
Yeah, I just can't. He has nothing to do. There's like, you can't do anything.
And just like, yeah, sure. Like, what?
Yeah.
Send me the bill.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Do your worst.
Yeah. Tell me how much I'm taking.
Cards in hand? 3.
Yes, 3.
I'll draw.
And Adam's like, am I going to get a turn 3?
That's the question. I talked about this. It matters how many turn 3s are you going to get out of Adam in this match. Him losing the die roll, I think, is actually the biggest thing in this entire match. Yeah.
And Keith is at 17 anyway. As long as he doesn't go to 15.
Yeah, that's true. I was going to say, keeping that life total as high as possible. Pretty big here for Keith. It's actually kind of a thing for him. If he only had Shocklands, then
Yep.
Yes, please.
it's something that could help Adam win a game. But
My hand.
Yeah, you're good.
looks like he's only got 1 of the Overgrown Tombs here.
And we saw, I think.
Yeah, it looks like we have another judge call here. Yeah, sure.
Confusing cards and decks
Yeah, I
going
mean,
on here.
here's the thing. I have to believe at least Adam's having to read all of his opponent's cards out of the Calibrated Blast. I know I would have to read a bunch of them, and then maybe there's cards the other way. There's so many things going on. There's cards getting played in these decks that we haven't seen in years or almost ever seen in any modern deck ever. Like this land, the Nephalia on the other side of Adam, this isn't a card that gets played ever.
Yeah.
All right, so second Noble Hierarch, I'm sorry, Ignoble Hierarch.
Game 1.
I was supposed to say carbon copy of game 1, almost to the T so far. It looks like we got attack from the Glistener Elf. And how much damage are we taking here this time?
Does he have a groundswell?
See a mutagenic growth, but I don't know if he wants to pay the 2 life here. I definitely wouldn't. So it looks like he's going to go ahead and... Let's see, did he pay the 2 life here? It looks like he did.
Unless he's got lethal right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have a Noble Hierarch for a source of damage. I mean, a source of mana.
And then
So,
There's no way he just goes to 15 and passes the turn.
I'm gonna go ahead.
yeah, it looks like something maybe Keith could have played around a little bit here. He's got a fetch here as well. Is this going to be lethal? No, it looks
Oh
like
my
just a
goodness.
pass.
What does
Down to
I'm pretty sure Adam has the Calibrated Blast.
I think he does. I mean, he could still... I was going to say, I don't know. This interesting play line here. So
He's
Keith
got
down to...
plenty of mana.
yeah.
He could have just paid for the.
Yeah, he had Ignoble Hierarch that was available to him there. He goes ahead and fetches down to 14 here, too. Adds a Forest. I don't know what the last cards in Keith's hand is, so maybe there's a surprise here for us.
Yeah.
calculate this.
You're fine.
Does he have Autumn's Veil?
I think he might have actually.
Update this.
I'm sorry, Veil of
Veil of
Summer.
Summer.
Yeah.
So we should be at 16.
All right, so 7 poison for Adam.
This is 3 down to
It only gives you Hexproof for blue and black, though.
Oh, that's right. It's only blue and black. Yeah, it's not going to stop Calibrated Blast. Yeah.
You are correct. That's what I'm trying to make sure.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
We're good, guys.
I couldn't remember like what if it was just hexproof, and then if you drew the card, if it was blue or black, or if it was only from those. Yeah.
the Seiju Rafine Stout.
It looks like we have Beseiju here.
For a black,
Okay.
And then I will go.
All right, he's going to go ahead and float the mana
Yeah.
and go search the deck for another land.
And it's basic.
I mean, there's a
basic
mountain.
land type or.
That player may search the library for a land card with a basic land.
I was like, yeah, you can just get a dual land here too if you want. Yeah, go ahead and shock in a Blood Crypt.
Sure. So I am at 18.
Yeah, your life total against Infect doesn't actually matter. Your real life total. You're at 10 to start the game.
So if Adam just has an untapped land here, it's
So that was
this
I mean, he has
is
3
already-
mana right now, right? Unless this is
So
upkeep.
with the
I
floating
assume
mana,
it was that would have been upkeep.
But it doesn't look like it was. It looks like,
before I
yep,
draw
it's going to go ahead and just
Calibrated
play a Calibrated Blast. Target you.
Let's see.
Let's
He's
see I don't.
Two mana up.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if there's a whiff here.
Yeah, I really don't think there is.
Yep, there's a worm. Target you. 15, and there's the handshake. Is this the fastest 3-game set you've ever seen in your time casting Magic the Gathering?
I think so.
I think this is up there for me. I don't know if I've ever seen it. I've played a faster match than this, but I don't think I've ever cast a faster match than
Fair.
this.
Yeah.
I've played
Man.
Tron versus Infect, and I think I was dead in 7 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think they may have beat this. I don't even know. I didn't see
Did you
the
go
round
to
timer.
third game? Is that?
Oh yeah, I won one of them immediately. Yeah,
So you did
they
win 3 games.
mulliganed to 4 and didn't do anything or whatever. So, but the 2 games that I lost, I was dead on turn 2 like immediately.
So Keith would have been dead if he didn't pay 2 life for that mutagen growth.
Yeah, we talked about that. So he had the fetch where he could have fetched down to 16 and gotten a forest, or he could have used the ignoble hierarch. Instead, mutagen growth is 2 life was paid for it there. So just maybe a little sidestep, showing some
I mean,
look.
he probably doesn't know all the cards in that deck.
Exactly, right? Like, how many people here really have a lot of, like, have you had a lot of reps against Calibrated Blasts?
No.
Is this in your gauntlet at home for when you're play testing for a big tournament?
No.
It definitely isn't for me.
Yeah. So he may just have assumed like, well, if he
There's-
calibrated blast,
yeah.
he's dead. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
that's probably what happened. Is he probably just thought, I'm always just dead to this card.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it sounds like I think we're trying to set up a backup match here. Yeah, this looks like a backup match, and let me double check. I think I heard that this is going into game 3, I believe, of this match. So let me double check with my. No, sorry, this is game 1. So we're gonna be getting the whole match here. One of the boogeymen of the format coming in here, Golgari Yawgmoth, played by Thomas Shelton, up against John Vasquez. He's playing Merfolk, a favorite of Twitch chat.
Yeah,
absolute. Twitch chat loves Merfolk, by the way. You know, Twitch chat loves a few things. They love Merfolk, they love you hard casting Shark Typhoon, and they love you stealing a 1-drop with Archmage Chart. They love all the like things that never happen. You know,
I like 2 of those 3 things.
I like all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a hard cast Shark Typhoon man.
I like to beat Merfolk.
I like to beat Merfolk too.
It's never like an easy feat to beat Merfolk.
I mean, so it's kind of funny, you know. A lot of people joke about the deck as like tier 2.5 or whatever. It's actually pretty good.
You ever had to play against Ty Thomason on Merfolk in any format?
He'll make you respect the deck.
Oh my god.
I've definitely played against him in my day, and he's a hell of a legacy player and a hell of a Merfolk player. So it looks like we got just an island on the start for John. No Aether Vial, unfortunately, for him, but maybe he's got a really, really good backup from here. It looks like we got the green-black Surveil into a Beseiju for Thomas here, and one of the cards that can go a long way here to Wall of Roots.
Yeah. Man, like we were talking about earlier today, this Yawgmoth deck, it's so sick, and it just rewards people that stay on the deck forever. They've just been playing it for years. They know all the lines. They know all the outs. The deck can get out of almost any situation.
And I think this is a Merfolk Tide Crasher. It's going to go ahead and take that green-black duel and turn it into an island.
Merfolk always turning stuff into islands.
You're fine, brother. You're fine.
Miss the spreading seas days.
Yeah, and this is pretty nice for the Merfolk deck. They don't have to play Spreading Seas anymore. They can play a threat that is actually Spreading Seas as well,
Yeah.
which helps out a lot because if you're not used to the Merfolk deck, they've got a lot of creatures in the deck that pump their Merfolk and then give them Island Walk. You know, an ability we haven't really seen printed in about 10 or 15 years, but is very relevant when your opponent has an island. You can't block.
Yeah, my guys are bigger. They're unblockable. I'm probably going to have a counter spell or something.
Yeah, Mutavault itself, also a Merfolk. Make sure you keep that in mind as we watch John Vasquez go through this. It looks like a Cavern of Souls. What do you think he's naming now?
Well, could be Merfolk. It could be.
There's one of those Aether Vials that I mentioned earlier, and this is a Master of the Pearl Trident. It's going to go ahead and make that a 2/2 attacker, and it has Island Walk, so no more blocking for the Yawgmoth player here. Now, in this matchup, is this something that Merfolk kind of worries about getting matched up into? Are they a little worried about going up against the Grand Man himself?
Got to. I mean, I think like this is like premium territory for Yawgmoth. It's, you know, you can set up and just wipe out their whole board, draw your whole deck.
Yeah, Yawgmoth really likes to eat up the other creature decks for sure.
Yeah.
It's really good at, especially when your deck has a bunch of like 1/1s and 2/2s in it, because here's the thing, you're gonna have a bunch of lords in your deck, right? You know, you have the Master of the Pearl Trident, like pumping everything ++1, but the thing is, it's like a cascading effect. Once you kill one of them, the next one gets smaller, and then the next one gets smaller.
Easier and easier.
It's just a house of cards that comes down very easily if you take the right card out.
Yeah, and the Yawgmoth, I think I mean, the whole deck is based around getting Yawgmoth in play consistently and quickly as possible. I think the Merfolk just has to go all in, try to kill you as fast as possible, and just pray.
Yeah, you have to shove. Yeah, honestly, I don't think you could play around too much. This card can also be a nightmare in the matchup. This is an Orcish Bowmaster. No target to kill with the 1 damage because that is a 2/2 that's in play right now because of the Lord. But if any extra cards are drawn, this is really, really good. It's just another card that's problematic in this deck.
Yeah, and I mean, worst case scenario, it's fodder for Grist or fodder for Yawgmoth.
Yeah, interesting thing here. Could have maybe, like, if you wanted to, play the Grist here and sacrifice to do this and then play the Bowmaster, but this gives him fodder to throw with the Grist while also having, you know, some stuff left over to block to make sure the Grist can stay around. Because as of right now, no Island Walk, but we'll see. Either Val going to go up to 1, 2 creatures available to attack for John here. He's got a Mutavault. He's got the Tidebinder.
Thomas still at a healthy 14, not in any danger.
Yep. Most of the damage I think he did to himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, John's going to have a tight, hard road to walk through here.
Yeah.
So it does look like he's going to activate the Mutavault.
So have another Lord, get some more damage in, or okay, just go. All right, trying to get the Grist off the table.
Yeah, going to offer up a trade here if Thomas wants that. But on board, he's able to block both these to keep the Grist around if he wants.
So we got Thomas got a Hapatra in hand. All we're missing now is the Yawgmoth. He's even got the Cutthroat for the...
Yeah, to actually kill. Yeah.
Yeah.
To not just draw my deck, I'm going to actually kill you while doing all this too, yeah. And I wonder if Thomas is thinking about that. He's like, how much is it worth to keep this body around? All right, looks like he's going to go ahead and put the Wall of Roots in front of the 1/1 and the Bowmaster in front of the 2/2 Mutavault here.
Okay.
Yep.
John's fine with that.
Grist going to stay around, and it looks like a passing of the turn here from John with that Aether Vial only on 1 here. A little worried for John here that he's going to have enough to push through here this game. Looks like he's already got 4 lands. And then he drew the Aether Vial late, which, you know, he didn't have it in his opener, as we saw what turn 1 did.
Not as good on turn 3.
That is the one problem about having cards like that in your deck is sometimes you draw them on like turn 7 and you're looking for practically anything else.
Thomas's hand is not great, though.
Yeah, Court of Calling got milled by Grist there, too. That's one of the ones you would have loved to have drawn instead.
Just that Hapatra and Cutthroat in hand. I mean, Grist is still in play, but not a lot of action.
Yeah, Grist does make some 1/1s here, which can happen. There is a Pendlehaven in play as well. It's like, hey, make sure that these are rumble in the red zone a little bit easier. Cutthroat added to the board here as well. So starting to kind of put everything together. Instant speed Merfolk here as well. This one pumps up the other ones as well. So another way to make your Merfolk a little bit bigger here. There we go. There's the insect token.
Yeah, all right.
We were just looking for one. Make sure we get the appropriate token on cast here today.
All right, looks like John's in the tank, trying to figure out if he's going to be able to get any damage through or possibly get this Grist off the table.
Yeah, at this point, are you like worried about the Grist, or do you start attacking Thomas, or do you need to make sure that you get this Grist off the board?
I don't know. It's tough. I mean, Grist can just eat another Lord if you just leave it around. But then if you don't have any blockers left, this Hapatra just gets to get in for free and start doing things and making Death Touch guys and putting minus one counters on things. It's a little clunky. Is the Flash? I guess the Flash Lord does it not give Island Walk?
No, this one doesn't give Island Walk.
Okay.
Only the older ones do. But yeah, and John agrees with you. It's a really hard spot because he's just got a pass here. It looks like he made his 5th land drop here this turn too. So drawing the 5 lands plus the late Aether Vial are really hard on John here to keep up with this matchup with Thomas.
Yeah, and just do nothing on the Merfolk side that's definitely not where you want to be. But if you can't get in profitably, I mean, what else are you going to do? Maybe he's got some Aether Vial tricks. All right, gonna respond to the Grist trigger.
This is this is a Tidebinder.
Yeah.
He's gonna go ahead and shut down the Grist, and as long as the Tidebinder's in play, that Grist is not gonna do anything.
That's not bad. I mean, it's a start slowing Thomas down, but still not sure how you're gonna get in any damage.
More lands on Thomas's side here too. Both players not having a problem drawing mana. Second wall aversion. I think Thomas is empty-handed from here.
Yep.
So he's gonna go ahead and fetch.
See if the Yawgmoth deck play any of the new surveil lands. At least one, maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's got one in play here right now. I got to believe there's at least one, if not two. But it looks like he's going to go ahead and get Dryad Arbor. Yeah, so he's going to go get another creature into play. Great with the Zilpor Cutthroat.
Yeah.
Maybe start doing stuff. Also, if you top deck any of your big-time cards from here, you're in a really good position to possibly win the game on the spot.
Yeah, any way to find Yawgmoth is just game over.
I think it's a subtlety in John's hand, though, so that's a good card to at least like stave off that for a turn.
If John if he finds a way to give Island Walk, I mean, Thomas is down to 13.
Yeah, he could actually win the game pretty fast. All right, this is the Rashidian Port creature
Okay.
for us old Magic players.
Thank you, friend.
I think this one might actually just have Island Walk too. I can't remember.
It looks like it's got some keyword above the
Yeah,
land
I
type.
absolutely haven't seen that one in quite a while, honestly.
All right. Well, Thomas probably didn't find a way to get Yagmoth out because, yeah, would have just slammed it. Unless it's a quarter calling, he wants to do it at instant speed.
Yeah, John leaving the Vial on 2 here, which I can understand. You know, he's got enough mana to cast a Subtlety from his hand with all the lands that are in play, but 2 is the one that you kind of want to leave it on because you can instant speed the Lords in.
Yeah.
You know, Master of the Pearl Trident, something like that, and really maybe mess up Thomas's turn where he thinks, oh, this is a 2/2, let me put 2 damage on you. Like, well, no, on 1 second before damage. You know, make some crazy plays here.
I saw a Cauldron in Thomas's hand, and I'm not sure what the other card is.
It is a that's the one that makes all your lands swamps.
Okay.
Yep, there's a Cauldron. As I was say, I'm trying to remember what he has in the graveyard if anything's relevant here. I think he has a Bowmasters, and that's it.
Yeah. And this really is just kind of a top deck moment for either deck. A Lord is just about, I think, game over on the Merfolk side.
The Soul Cauldron will eventually start to break the stalemate, though. He's going to be able to start taking creatures out of the graveyards, including his opponents, and just make one of his creatures big enough that it can start attacking
Yeah.
with impunity. And when that starts happening, John's going to start falling behind. I think that's kind of what Thomas is thinking about here. He's going to go ahead and attack with the 1/1 insect. You see John with a wry smile, like, okay, here we go. So it begins. There's also a Pendle Haven here, too. So the Pendle Haven activation can start, and then you could use maybe Agatha Soul Color, so you can start really pumping up some of these creatures.
So he's going in with the one insect.
It looks like, all right, we got a Pendle Haven activation
Yep.
on the insect.
And I'll be trying to activate Cauldron, target them.
And now, after that resolves, they use Soul Cauldron in response.
Another Tidebinder.
Yep, we're going to go ahead and make sure that can't happen anymore.
Well, it becomes a 2/3.
Well, John finding all of his interaction.
Drain 1.
Yes. Down to 18. And
Yep, that's going to trigger the Cutthroat as well. So Tom's going to get a little bit of that life total back. He's down to 14. John down to 18.
Alan tap.
See what John finds.
Yeah, John really needs to start finding something to keep going here. He really needs to start attacking as soon as possible. He's doing a good enough job or a decent enough job of like staving off Thomas, but he needs to start putting something in play that actually threatens the life total of Thomas.
Yep.
Aether Vial for 2 here is going to put in another Lord.
Okay.
All right, well, that's something. Your creatures are kind of big now. It looks like, yep, there goes the Island Walk for, I believe, 3 in. So that's going to put Thomas down to 11. So at least we have a clock now.
We've got something going on.
Yeah, it's a little something. I mean, if Thomas is going to keep drawing lands, I mean, this will eventually kill him.
He does. He draws the Misty Rainforest.
All right, so you still got the Pendle Haven. Agatha's Soul Cauldron no longer an option to be used for Thomas here because of the Tidebinders.
And Tidebinder is such an annoying card.
I actually like it a lot. I'm a big fan, but it is very annoying. Yeah. I was a big fan of the card Stifle, so
yeah.
anytime you give me this on a creature as well, yeah, sign me up.
I learned what Stifle was in my first ever big event. It was Grand Prix Dallas.
Did you learn the hard way?
I was playing Mind's Desire. I'd never heard of the card Stifle.
Oh, I know where this is going.
I duressed my opponent game 2. And I was playing against Affinity, and I just took like a skull or a cranial plating, and then went to storm off the next turn. He's just like Stifle. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, what does that do?
It does. He's like, oh, just cancels everything you were trying to do.
You get one. You get one.
You get one.
You get the
Yeah,
one.
you
Mines.
get
You just
one.
paid 6 mana to Mind's Desire. Yeah.
I'll move to call.
You can't take that one from you, Hal. You get to take that one to the bank.
Yeah, you're not.
You get that one. You can't take that one.
Mind's Desire was a hilarious deck to play at my first big event. I think Raphael Levy won with Zoo.
Yeah, it was when he did the back-to-back Grand Prix wins on like different sides of the world or whatever. Yeah.
That was he won that one the first weekend, and then wherever it was.
He flew like 6,000 miles to the next one and then won that one. Yeah, that was very impressive. Yeah. We are showing our age here, Hal.
Yeah, that's yeah. That was probably like 2006 or something.
Some of the people playing and listening to us saying we're not born yet. All right, looks like we got a little bit of an aggressive attack here from John. Both those Tidebinders getting in the red zone, and then the Island Walker as well. Tidebinders are, I think, 5/3s, 5/4s. Sorry.
Little scary. I mean, you kill one of the Tidebinders if possible. You have to. I don't even know if you can.
It's going to cost
actually.
so much stuff for Tom to do that. And
Unlocking the Grist would be sweet, but I don't know if it's going to be worth it. They may just have to be chump, take one more draw step, and hope for the best.
We will block one Tidebinder,
Okay.
the one that is on the Cauldron, and then we're gonna triple on the one that's in the Grist.
Triple on the Grist.
Yeah.
I think he might be trying to trade with one of the Tidebinders because he can Pendlehaven one of the 1/1s, and that'll be 5. But which one is he trying? It's got to be the Grist he'd be trying to unlock over the Cauldron, right?
I think so too. I'm double checking something real quick on Tidebinder. Give me one moment here. Okay, it does. Oh yeah, I was just making sure. Yeah, I think you want to unlock Grist because of the fact that if you get to unlock Grist, then you get to start using Grist ability off the more, and you start picking off these lords, and it's a lot easier to take care of John's Merfolk deck when they're 1/1s instead of 3/3s.
100%.
Yeah.
So Thomas goes for the triple block on one of them, and John responds with an Otawara to bounce the Hepatra. So the other two are just gonna die.
You're up to 13, but then you do take 3 down.
Yep, so great attack here from John. That subtlety leading to a blowout here in the combat step. Thomas is going to go down a little bit here. I think we're going to have a couple triggers from the Cutthroat, but now look at his board. It is decimated.
Yeah, now I don't know that a way to. I don't know if Yawgmoth would do it for him here now.
Yeah, not even the namesake card, but it looks like he has.
Another land.
We were talking about John Avon earlier. Thomas likes to draw some lands.
Yeah,
it looks
he's
like-
gonna. I think he scoops him up.
Yeah, that's going to pack it in. It looks like John Vasquez is going to win game 1 here on Merfolk.
How was that? He saw 0 ways to find a Yawgmoth except for the one.
They got
card that
milled, yeah.
Milled off the Grist.
Yeah, a little unlucky there that he milled some of the cards that he needed to draw while also drawing what I think it was like 5 or 6 straight lands or something like that at one point. It was pretty rough. He had he had all the filler and no thriller
Yeah.
in that game, and then it gave John all the time he needed to just find a way to get a few points of damage through, and then picks the right turn to really get an attack in. When he makes that kind of attack, does it send like alarm bells off in your head? It has to, right? A little bit, right? You're like, this is going to be bad in some way, right?
Oh, you're gonna unlock my Grist again? There's no way.
Whenever someone does that to me in real life, I always look at him like, I'm dead, right? Like you have to have something.
Show me.
Show me how bad it's going to be. I'll just concede. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty nice opener here on, I think this is 6 cards here. I see a Fatal Push for Thomas as well as a Bowmasters. So a lot of the ways to possibly answer, and it looks like we're going to go ahead and get that Surveil here on turn 1. Stranglegeist on top of the deck. So it looks like it's going to go ahead and go into the graveyard.
And I always forget about that card because I play a lot of Yawgmoth on Arena. We don't have the luxury of Stranglegeist. We're just stuck with the Wolves.
I'm going to say it's just Lone Wolf. Yeah. He's always by himself.
So Thomas has got a Fatal Push ready. Probably going to save it for one of the Lords.
Yep, he'll take any value he can off the Bowmaster as well. But if I remember right, this Merfolk's a 1/2 here, the Obsidian Port Merfolk. So we can't Bowmaster that one.
He wasn't able to kill it in game one either.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to go ahead and hit the green-black duel here, but
Down to 19.
I think this is going to prompt the Bowmasters this turn, most likely. He's going to go ahead and just get some value off of it. You don't want to wait too long on it, because if something tricky happens and you get, you know, a Lord put into play and instant speed in response to the Bowmasters, you want to avoid the disaster scenario for sure.
Yeah.
Basic Force is like one of those good basic lands I hear. Ooh.
Yeah, Bowmaster comes down, takes out the 1/1.
So it's never an
Or is that one? Or is that a 1/2 also?
No, that one's a 1/1.
Okay.
See you later, Tide Shapers. You get a 1/1.
I'm trying to rack my brain for my Merfolk knowledge after, you know, go back a few years. It's been a while.
So does that stop the land becoming an island too?
Yeah, I think it's for as long as it's in play. I'm not sure. I'd have to double check on that, but it looks like the land is definitely not an island.
Yeah.
Again, sorry for everybody at home. I'm not super familiar with the Tidebinder Mage.
I guess
that one
didn't
Tide.
play the entirety of game.
Yeah.
one? Okay.
All right, Zolber Cutthroat's going to get added to the board here, and it's going to be a pass over to John Vasquez. A little bit of a slower start
We'll play a Monopoly.
in this game, but still a lot of very powerful plays can come up behind this. Any of the Lords going to be pretty good behind here. It looks like I think I spotted at least one.
Okay, we've got Relic of Progenitus.
I think.
Still no turn one Ether Vial for the Merfolk players.
Yeah, that's when the deck really gets going.
It's
Because
so terrifying.
yeah, they get to utilize, because most of their lands are good at like being utility lands and doing other things. You know, attacking a Mutavault, getting to use a Rashidian Port type effect off a creature like you see here. And when you have Aether Vial in play, it gets to alleviate all that pressure for your lands of casting your spells. Instead, you get to kind of double up on what's going on.
You get to leave up like counter spells and you know all kinds of things.
There's the Soul Cauldron for Thomas. One of the nice additions to Yawgmoth here over the last year that's gone very far above what I thought it would do in this deck. It does some really dumb stuff in this
It's
deck.
pretty terrifying when it gets going.
Yep, it's going to go ahead and activate it now. Where's the counter going to go? It's going to go in the Cutthroat.
Like this deck needed any more toys.
Yeah, this deck didn't need another toy, but all of this is going to allow Thomas to still hold up Fatal Push here as well. So he's thinking about the implications of, you know, what's the worst case scenario here? If he plays one of the instant speed Lords, which looks like something like that might happen, he's still got Fatal Push here. Is this the Trickster?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
That is the Trickster.
So that creature will lose its abilities.
Yep. So it looks like he's trying to turn off the Cutthroat.
Yeah, he's going to turn off Cutthroat for this turn. And let's see if Thomas wants to do it before blocks. He might be able to go ahead and Fatal Push and get through all this damage.
Probably he's just not too excited about. That's what he's going to
This isn't
push.
yeah, this isn't one of the ones that you want to actually Fatal Push, but John's putting him in a situation where, hey, if you don't Fatal Push, I'm going to get a lot of value off this. I'm going to turn off the Cutthroat and then probably pick off your Bowmaster or your 1/1 here.
It's pretty brutal.
Yeah, Merfolk Trickster.
If it were me, I think I'd just go ahead and fire it off, get the damage in, and keep my board state. And I think he's just going to let it happen.
Yeah, maybe he's thinking, you know, whatever creature goes to the graveyard, I have the Soul Cauldron here. I can keep building up my board from here. And he just values this Fatal Push so much higher. And I got to say, this is a lot of patience from Thomas, and maybe him showing I really understand my deck and how it has to work in this matchup. So probably a really heads up and great play from Thomas. And it might reap him some massive dividends further down this game.
Yeah, for sure. And just like at a glance, and somebody, you know, I don't have as much time on the deck, I'm sure, as Thomas does. Thinking, you know, I don't want to just lose my Bowmaster for free.
Yeah. It's very like, you know, you're a big limited guy. I'm a big limited guy. Like in limited, we'd snap make that play.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, good kills guy before. Yeah, you take it where you can get it.
In response to the cast. Yes. Let's push the document.
Yeah, in response, I would say now we're going to have to use the Fatal Push here. So go ahead and take down the Merfolk that's locking down the lands for Thomas here, making sure that he gets to cast all of his stuff and pay for all of his things, because he's got a lot of things the rest of the game that he's going to want to be using that mana on. Looks like that Trickster's going to go ahead and get in for 2.
And the 3-drop Merfolk is so terrifying too.
I'm scared to say its name because I always mispronounce it very, very badly.
And I don't know its name. But I do know what it does.
Let's go ahead and mark it.
Yeah, I don't have his list pulled up.
Activate the ability.
But yeah, it's like it gets indestructible if you have 2 other. Is it Merfolks or just creatures in general? I think it's Merfolks, but
Seems pretty reasonable.
and then it draws a card whenever it attacks. Gives your other guys ward 1. Thomas is in the tank.
Pass. And stopping your upkeep.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, there it is. As indestructible as long as you control at least 2 other Merfolk. Other Merfolk have ward 1. When it attacks, you draw a card.
That is so good.
And it's a 3/4 for 3?
Now, I don't so this is a...
Yeah, it's just it's such a terrifying Merfolk.
Okay.
Yeah. He will do it.
If you have one card in it, right?
One card.
Like now Thomas got his Yawgmoth going, he'd have to pay 1 for each other Merfolk he wanted to target.
Yeah, draw your cards. Draw your card.
Yeah, it looks like Thomas is on the back foot again this game.
I'm not gonna lie, Hal. I'm actually one of the people who's like kind of a Merfolk hater. I usually think it's like kind of a joke, like a little bit of a meme, whatever. And then every time I play against it, it just puts me in my place.
It's so terrifying.
Yeah.
It's such a scary deck to play against. Even if I think I beat it 60% of the time, like I have.
You really remember the
Oh
40%.
man, yeah.
Taking 5.
And those wins were not easy.
The results are
I've actually played Merfolk in a big event before, but I don't usually admit that.
I'll tap down your memo.
Was it Legacy?
No, it's modern.
Modern? Okay.
Yeah, it's modern a long time ago. I played it in a like invitational. I played Merfolk with Thoughtseize in the deck.
Okay. All right. Well, did you play Sig River Cutthroats?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. If you're adding the black, like
Yeah, we were going
come on.
deep. Yeah.
That's maybe my favorite Merfolk.
Big fan of Sig myself. I think Chameleon Colossus might be my favorite Merfolk.
Okay.
You always have the guy who does that. There's always the guy that brings up the changelings. Yeah. Or Beautiful might be my favorite Merfolk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just snap stern scolding. Yeah, I was gonna say there.
No thanks.
Yeah, there's Yawgmoth, the secret. I mean, the namesake card of the deck here, and Stern Scolding could not have been cast fast enough here. And this might be the biggest cutthroat I've ever seen in my life. Now.
And it's only a 4/4, but
It's still the biggest. The thing is, like, you never see a cutthroat matter like its actual body.
oh yeah.
It just needs to be there to trigger a bunch of times, and a bunch of things are going on. And now we've got a 4/4 that could rumble.
Yeah, Thomas still behind on the race though. John's sitting at a healthy 17. The Merfolk God just gonna draw a card every time it attacks.
Not indestructible right now,
Yeah.
but as soon as John gets untapped, then it threatens to be indestructible for the rest of the game, pretty much, if there's ever mana up, or if he plays another Merfolk.
Yeah, I can just activate your Mutavault to give it indestructible at instant speed.
And that's something you can do here. Is if he wants to, I think he has a Master of the Pearl. I would say I think he has a Lord here anyway, but if he wants, he could be able to attack with this to draw a card, and then if it gets blocked, he can still just give it indestructible as well.
Yeah. Is that
A cursed totem.
Yeah.
I'll sacrifice my Orc.
John seeing all the sideboard cards. This game got the Relic of Regenesis in his hand as well.
Why make a waste of this?
Yeah.
Let's tap your Odawara.
Yeah.
Looks like we're gonna have a response.
My Orc. Target Spade.
We'll put a red one for you.
That's fine.
So sacrifices it to Yawgmoth's ability, which is on.
Yeah, the Zilber Cutthroat has Yawgmoth's ability right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, trying to keep track of everything that's under there is difficult at times.
And that coming down to 16.
Yeah.
So Sven, or however you pronounce this, Merfolk,
Yeah. My bad.
God,
I'm
legend.
just saying Merfolk God.
Yeah,
Okay. Results.
I'm looking at 4/4.
he's gonna have a -1/-1 counter attached to this with the red die or 4.
I think I'll just pass.
But were you saying that it'll be a... Can I start setting it up? Yes.
All right. See what
Like I said, Thomas has
here.
been quite land flooded all these games, but he's still putting up a
Definitely.
fight where he can here or there. I think that's a Takanuma that just got added to his hand, so maybe it's something we could see this turn get put into at least getting maybe the Orcish Bowmasters back.
I'm gonna channel this Takanuma.
It looks like that's what's
Yep.
about to happen, so we'll see what the mill is.
So you get the mill.
See if
first,
mill's anything good.
pick a card. Yeah.
It does cost the full 4 since we have a non-legendary Yawgmoth ability in play.
Yeah, how often do you see Yawgmoth's ability in play, but you have to pay 4 mana for Takanuma? Yeah, exactly. I think, was that a whiff on extra creature. That may be a Delighted Halfling, actually. And I think it's a Cord and a Swamp that just got added. I believe that's a Delighted Halfling that looks like a Lord of the Rings card.
Yeah.
So it looks... Oh, we had the Strangleroot guys from turn 1. I forgot about that one as well. So Strangleroot guys brought back to Thomas's hand. Kind of bottom of the barrel of what you'd want out of these, but at least it's something you can cast.
I'm usually not in the market for a 6-mana Strangleroot guys, but here we are.
This is what Merfolk does to you. You have to you just have to make do of what you got.
Embarrass you the
Yeah.
entire game.
You gotta make do of what you got. I mean, their lands are getting tapped. They're getting turned into islands.
You may still beat me, but I'm gonna make it look real ugly.
Yeah.
Something else. I had something else to do with this. Yeah.
Oh man.
What's the plan against the? You just try to go fast. So he was.
John was land number 4 as well.
1 and 3. I didn't have Joseph. I had a hand.
Still no Lord this game.
I wasn't fast enough for that. You can mulligan pretty aggressively, which is nice. You can keep no land hand. You just have to have your colors.
Yeah, the Relic of Virginis is going to get added in here too. A card that can help slow down this Agatha's Soul Cauldron as well. Maybe get an extra card in here for John, because that offense is starting to slow down quite a bit here this last couple turns. And if you give Thomas enough time, even with things to slow him down, he'll find a way out of it.
Yeah, for sure. This game has kind of turned out to be a weird back and forth.
Yeah, it's the hate cards of no pressure versus the deck that's getting locked out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like Delighted Halfling's going to get removed from the Soul Cauldron here.
I could activate.
See if it wants to respond with the relic.
So I could activate this.
Yeah, do you want to eat my graveyard in response?
Our
I
stuff.
think that's what John is thinking about here. Is like, what else is there? You have 1 card left over in your hand after this. I think Thomas is scared either way. He's like, either I get this plus counter or like I get the relic off the board. Yeah. He's got to eventually fight his way through it anyway. So it looks like, yep. And you see Thomas kind of like, yep, sure. Like,
Yeah. Now the Strangleroot guys won't just get eaten for free.
getting an extra card for John here is pretty nice too, because he needs to find some more threats like we've been talking about. So anything to get some extra cards here is great for him. Looks like another land was added, and then I believe a spell at least, finally, for Thomas. The only thing is there's definitely some spells here that aren't super great. You know, you can draw like Delighted Halfling, like another Lone Wolf, some cards that are good in the deck. They're great for the combo stuff, but Thomas doesn't have a lot of that going on right now.
It's gonna hurt. So.
I think it's a grist.
Is that a grist? That's
Yeah.
that's not a bad one.
Yep, looks like grist is coming down. Let's see if this resolves.
Yeah, this is giving him something to do because he can't activate the abilities of his creatures right now.
Yep.
For the Cursed Totem, but Grist can. Well, Grist is a creature. Is it a creature when it's in play or only when it's in your
I
library?
think it's any other zone, but when it's in play, I think it was just a planeswalker.
So there we go. He activated right away. So go ahead and pitch the Strangleroot guys to this.
15.
Trigger Undying.
It'll trigger again for your trickster. So.
It's just creatures.
Drain you for 1 with
sorry,
the
you're right.
cutthroat.
I don't think it's-
No, yeah, you're good.
Yeah, let me get these
I'll change mine.
life totals updated here. It looks like here comes the Strangleroot guys back with the +1/+1 counter on it.
That's right.
I think it's just land number 7. Yep. We're in hardcast Quarter Calling for Yawgmoth without casting any creatures.
You can almost hardcast Gristlebrand here.
Yeah.
It's been that kind of day for Thomas on camera.
Yeah.
Trickster before damage.
Yeah. Oh, make it 5.
I'll get a counter.
Yeah.
It looks like the Soul Cauldron's gonna go ahead and pump this up the jam just a little bit more. So no.
5.
New record.
Yep.
That's what does high score mean?
It's just, yeah, swole, cutthroat.
Yeah, this cutthroat's been working out.
I knew you had
Finally
it.
got another little Lord in play for John here. Go ahead and flash that one in at the end of turn.
Oh, okay, cool.
We're back over to John here. 4 mana, some cards left over in his hand, and he's got to find some offensive way here. You kind of incentivized to go after this Grist. You don't want to let that just sit around and kind of accrue value for Thomas.
Yeah, especially with the cutthroat just sitting in play.
Yeah, you got to find an answer to Cutthroat here at some point in time too. Thomas is finding a good way to. Thomas is doing a very good job this game of finding ways to be winning, to get ahead, while also being disrupted quite a bit this game.
Okay.
I'll turn the undergun.
All right, this one's a little late. He's gonna turn one of the lands into an island, but Thomas has got that in the bag. His mana base completely fine from here. You could turn half his lands at islands and he's still good.
But if John can find a way to give his guys Island Walk, I was only at 11.
Very true. Also, I believe this makes his other Merfolk indestructible now, since there's 2 more in play. Now there's 3. Okay, there you go. You asked for this, and he's delivered. Asked for the Pearl Trident.
How many of them can we get? Can we get him with both? We're definitely sending in the God.
Yeah, I'm definitely sitting in the God here to draw the extra card. At the least, something's going to attack Grist. I believe something's that. Let's see. Well, I don't know. Is this a 2-turn clock? All right, so there we go. Draws the card. I wonder where these attacks are going. If they're going to Thomas or if one's going to Grist or not.
Right,
Yeah, let's say take the safe route, go after the Grist. Because you're not guaranteed to have your Lord next turn. You don't want to like lose it and then you didn't get enough value out of it. So a little bit of damage going across over to Thomas. Goes down to 8. It's going to go down to 7 from this fetch here.
I mean, I think it's still a 2-turn clock.
Yeah, with all the Merfolk play plus the Mutavault, absolutely. So now the onus is back on Thomas. He's got to do something about this Lord that's giving Island Walk.
Those are very scary dudes.
I mean, so what does Thomas want to find here? I mean, he's already got the Yawgmoth ability in play, but the Curse Totem is really messing with him. Just find a way to get the Curse Totem out of play.
I mean, Fatal Push would be great here.
Yeah.
Anything interact with the creatures because he's just dead, almost dead on board, I think, the next turn. Yeah, I was going to say there's an island in play. All of the Merfolk have Island Walk. Yeah, he's got to interact with the Master of the Pearl Trident first and foremost. So if you take away the Curse Totem, can he kill John this turn? I don't think so.
You caught it before you finished that.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll bend that. Cool.
Another land.
Well, Thomas has had some bad luck here this match and drawing so many lands. And he's going to sit here and try to figure it out. Can he get out of this? Is there a way for him?
I've never seen a Yawgmoth player draw that many lands.
Yeah, it's been very unfortunate for him how many that he's drawn here in this game because his opener's been quite good.
It was solid.
They're quite solid. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Like they've had, some interactions, some of the early pieces. There was a Yawgmoth this game, but too many lands, and then John being at the ready with just a few sideboard cards here or there to disrupt just enough to put Thomas in the blender.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything. I think he's
Yeah,
just
you see the head shake from
Yep.
Thomas here.
just,
Yeah, the nice little giggle of, thanks, deck.
let me make sure I'm not missing anything.
Yeah, maybe wonder if there's a way, like, what happens if I attack with everything? Is he incentivized to block, and then I can maybe survive for a turn? Trying to think it all out.
It's been a lot of work.
Yeah.
Kind of bad.
Yeah.
It looks like he's gonna attack them both.
Boys, huh?
See if
Respectable.
see if John maybe makes a block here that. So if he blocks, what is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? I think it's still lethal, even if he blocks with the 1/1 here.
Yep.
But it looks like John's gonna go ahead and just take it.
Okay, puts me down to 1.
Just gonna pump this up.
9
Remember
damage.
the Bowmaster.
Yep, 9 damage, and then that's gonna be. And yeah, and so that's the crazy thing is, if he takes it there and he has a Court of Calling, he takes 9 and then goes and gets a Bowmaster and shoots him up for 1.
Yeah.
Just goes upstairs for 1. But it does look like the Merfolk player is going to be victorious here. This match of just enough, I think is the way to put it.
Yeah. It wasn't a blowout. Nothing too crazy. Just Merfolk things.
Yeah, just a card or 2 here to interact with your Yagmoth player, slow them down just enough that you can limp across the finish line with these 2/2s and these 3/3s that have Island Walk. And well played on both sides. Just some pretty rough luck here for the Yagmoth player drawing a lot of the lands there.
Sure. I think the Yawgmoth deck really needs to win game 1. I think they're pretty favored game 1 too, but yeah, just flooded out and couldn't get it done. So I think that's the end of round 3. We'll probably take a short break, and I think round 4 will be coming up pretty soon.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Hunter Burton Memorial Open. I'm Corbin Hostler here with Adam Miles, who is now 3-0 with quite the brew. You want to tell us about this Calibrated Blast deck that you've got working here?
Yeah, sure. After the bans, I figured Force of Negation's going to be on the downswing, so I was looking for something fun to play and maybe attacking the meta a little different way. I expected a lot of Yawgmoth, a lot of Titan. So I went with the far left field play, scouring the decks that maybe have done well recently. I stumbled upon this top 32 at the Canadian RC. I think he finished 20-something, Alex Papadopoulos. And I really liked the changes that he did to this list, kind of updating it with some of the newer cards.
Yeah, this is a wild deck, that's for sure. He took it to the top of the RC, and now here you are, undefeated with it so far. So tell us what we're looking at here with these with this Calibrated Blast, the deck's namesake.
Sure. So the deck is 16 creatures. Realistically, the deck can cast only 2 of them, Scion of Draco and Shadow of Mortality. The other ones are just targets for Calibrated Blasts. So we've got 12 15-cost creatures, 4 12-cost creatures, and then we have 4 of the namesake card, Calibrated Blast, and 2 Throws of Chaos, which always cascades into a Calibrated Blast if it resolves. Crunching the numbers, Calibrated Blast should hit for 11.6 on average, which is basically half of most players' life. So it's pretty fun to play. My Calibrated Blasts have been good so far today, so we'll hopefully keep it rolling.
Yeah, and the card has flashback. You just play it, flash it back, because you can just 2 turns, it's over.
This has flashback. This has retrace. So there's a lot of inevitability with it too, as long as I have enough time to wheel again. I also have other ways to do it in the land base now, thanks to LCI.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Talk about the updates to the land base specifically that have come about since you've played this deck last.
Sure. So it's 38 lands main board. The new additions are Hidden Volcano, which is comes in taps for red, and then it has for 5 and tap, sacrifice it, discover 4. If it does discover, it will always hit Throws of Chaos or Calibrated Blast.
Right.
And if I think they can counter it or have some other stuff, with Discover, you can just put it into your hand instead of cast it. To help enable this, we're running Sunken Citadel, which helps kind of turbo it out. You can name whatever the color, it comes in tapped, kind of like a Guildgate. But the 2 mana to activate any land ability is very relevant.
Right.
I have different sources I could use it on. Cycle lands, Hidden Volcano, Channel lands, Beseiju, Sokazan, and then some of the damage lands, Ramnap Ruins and Mount Doom.
Mount Doom is quite the inclusion.
As the one of, it's a repetitive ping source, because most of the time, hopefully you're hitting for 15. Your opponent's going to take some damage from their mana or other plays. So really, you just really need help getting that last 3 or 2 if you play against something that doesn't have a painful mana base.
All right, last thing we have to ask about this. 15 lands in the sideboard. That is not an accident. That is not, you didn't have anything else. This is on purpose.
It's absolutely on purpose. So you get to be really techie with your lands. So I have extra Beseiju who shelters all for counter spells, Beseiju who endures for artifacts, Tron, stuff like that, Otawara for hate pieces or just buy you time, Nephalia Academy, which is always a reader for other people, so against the Thoughtseize Grief matchups, and then Scavenger Grounds against the graveyard-based matchups too.
Well, this is amazing, and you're doing amazing with it so far, 3-0. So good luck the rest of the way here at the Hunter Burton.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.